Thank you, Constantine. I'm very, very happy to be here. And not only because of the topic is very close to my heart, but also because I have a special soft spot for Warsaw and for Poland, where I spent 3 years of my life, 92 to 95, a little bit of time ago. So I've been asked to come here and share our experience, as Constantine said, as the largest advertising in the world. And I thought I would tell you a little bit of our story and how we're taking the courage to really make things happen and walk the talk on what has been said so far. And you all have heard of P&G. We have been 180 years in the market, and we have a history of conquering consumers' love and consumers' trust through superior products, through superior packaging, value, and communication. And we enter 5 billion homes around the world, and with that comes a big responsibility. Because through our advertising and through our messages, we actually help shape the culture. And the story that I want to talk today has two sides of the coin. One has to do on how we are taking that responsibility to heart when it comes to content, the content that we create, and I will tell you a little bit about a particularly courageous story we have just gone through, which is Gillette. And of course, I'm going to talk about the media side of the coin, building on what our CMO, Mark Pritchard, has already been having the conversation on with many of you for quite a few years. Let me start by talking about the content and the courage we have taken when it comes to gender stereotypes. As advertisers, we have, we are responsible, particularly when we are investing, significant amount of money. We're responsible on actually depicting what the life of a consumer is like. And when we depict women only doing the household chores, inadvertently we create a bias for people to think, well, it's the job of the woman needs to be doing the household chores. And we have taken notice of that, and over the past few years we have been very deliberate about really choosing who we portray in our advertisings, and we have showcased how fathers can share the load when doing the laundry with Ariel, or could do the dusting of the house with Swiffer, can also share the duty of washing the dishes with Fairy, or can also share very lovingly the chore of changing the diapers of their babies. But sometimes this is not enough. Sometimes changing those stereotypes, which by the way have had an impact and have had started creating different kind of understanding of what the role of men and women should be, sometimes we need to be a little bit more courageous. And that's what we did with Gillette. Over the years, Gillette has had a campaign that, we could argue helped also define what being a man was about. We depicted stereotypes of masculinity. And we came out early this year in January with a campaign which we called We Believe. I think many of you have seen it. That created actually quite a lot of conversation. In this campaign, we wanted to take a stance and to actually show how we can go from the best a man can get, which was our campaign, to really the best a man can be. And we were very deliberate about showing not only what were wrong behaviors that we thought men should stop doing, but also what are the actions that men could take to address those behaviors. Actually, we did not, to be very honest, expect such a reaction. Very, very quickly, we got 110 million views on YouTube, and we got billions of PR impressions. And the conversation at the beginning was not all positive. There was a lot of backlash from consumers, comments, negative comments about our campaign and about the position that Gillette had taken. Took us a little bit by surprise. We actually had a very tough moment where we had to decide, what do we do? Do we take the campaign affair We didn't even start investing in the campaign. It just went really, really big. And actually, we decided, you know what? We thought this was the right thing to do. It is still the right thing to do, so we kept it. And what we saw actually was beautiful. After a few days, consumers came back. And they were the ones that saying, hey, hold on, but what is this thing? Why is this being so negative? I mean, what's wrong with Gillette's advertising? What's wrong with talking about what masculinity is about today? And that whole conversation went that way. And we actually, just sparked and provoked that debate into society, into families, at dinner, in schools. We were even, asked to use our video in universities, and we were invited by the UN to talk about this. On top of the very, very at one point in time, we were the most liked and also the most disliked ad that was aired on YouTube. So we kept it, and we had the courage to stay, and it played out well. From a brand standpoint, we got a positive response from our millennial consumers. We saw better perception of the brand that we had in the past. And in particular, the number of people that said they shared the values with Gillette increased dramatically. And that has convinced us to continue with that courage and continue the conversation with Gillette. Now, in each country with their own, let's say, little flavor on what is more important for the topic to discuss from a gender stereotype standpoint. Let me share with you what we just aired in India that already has recorded more than 11 million views.
बापू कहते हैं, बच्चे जो देखते हैं, उसी से सीखते हैं। जुग जुग जिया अब यहाँ के तौर तरीके ही देख लो। जुग जुग जिया सुलाला नवा भवनवा के भाग जागल हो। लड़के क्या कर सकते हैं और लड़कियाँ क्या नहीं, ये तो यहाँ दिख ही जाता है। भाग जागल हो। पिताजी का पेशा ही ले लो, शायद लड़कों को विरासत में मिलता है, मगर ऐसा नहीं कि लड़कियों को कुछ नहीं मिलता। मैंने देखा है, उन्हें भी मिलता है। गृहस्थी, रसोई, घर की जिम्मेदारी। नाची नाची गावेली बहिनिया ललन के खेलावेली हो। जुग जुग जिया सुललनवा।
क्यों काका, दाढ़ी बना दूं?
हाँ हाँ।
बापू, ये लड़की होके उस तरह चलाएगी?
अरे बेटा, उस तरह को क्या पता कि चलाए वाला लड़का है या लड़की? क्यों? चल बेटा, फटाफट दाढ़ी बना।
हाँ।
जुग जुग जिया तो बाबोनिया के दुनिया जोर कैलू हो। जुग जुग जिया तो बाबोनिया के दुनिया जोर कैलू हो। सही कहते हैं बापू, बच्चे जो देखते हैं उसी से सीखते हैं। ना 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 ना।
So this is important in regaining consumer trust, going back to the presentations that we just heard before me. From a content standpoint, we took the courage, and this is just one example, and by the way, you will see more of these campaigns popping up in different countries around the world. The second point that is important for us to take the courage to act in my message today is on the media side. We love technology. Technology has allowed us to do many advancements for humankind today, but there's also a dark side of technology that we need to address and we're facing. And the lack of transparency that we have been experiencing, particularly in the digital world, that is ranging from lots of ways to brand safety issues to outright fraud. I don't know how many of you have ever listened to a guy called Miko Kotila. He's actually quite controversial, but he shared with us a projection that said that if fraud continues to grow the way it's growing, by 2025 is going to be the second largest source of crime in the world after drug dealing. I don't know about you, but I don't want to be there. And so we have detected this. We have started the conversation a few years ago, and actually publishers, tech providers, marketers, agencies, and organizations like IAB have taken action. However, this is not enough. We have new issues. We experience every day something new. We have the privacy breaches, and we don't know what's going to happen now with AI coming. There's always something new, which is the exciting part about our job, but it's also the unknowns that are in front of us. So we have decided to kind of take a little bit of a pause and say, well, we actually probably need to start from a white piece of paper, because when we started doing advertising on digital, we just leaned forward and we went ahead and we did it, and we've been trying to fix it, but the solutions are not there as fast and as big as we need them to be in order to provide the environment that our consumers expect us to deliver our advertising in. So Mark actually declared a couple of weeks ago that we, as in P&G, will go forward to this, what he called the new media supply chain. And actually today, I would like to share something that is actually 90%, has not been completely shared broadly in my organization, but will be the guidelines that our teams around the world are going to use in order to determine how we're going to drive our investment with digital media publishers going forward, and a program that we're calling the Preferred Supplier Program. There are four vectors that we will follow. The first one is quality. From a quality standpoint, there's a Mexican saying that says, "Dime con quién andas y diré quién eres," which means, tell me who you're hanging out with, and I will tell you who you are. It's similar in advertising. It's the places where we put our content, our advertising, are very, very important to associate our brands with the values that we want them to be associated with, to get the impact that we want our investment to deliver. So we are taking a stance and actually requesting our digital publishers to secure that the environment where we air our ads has the content that is conducive for consumers to have a good experience. When we do this, it's proven to deliver increased quality and increased purchase intention for our brands. Second, we also want to be a lot more decisive on requiring the third-party independent measurement on everything that we buy. It's 2019, it's digital, this needs to be possible. I mean, it's basta, it's it. That's what we need to demand from from the investment that we have. And we've been, I know it's difficult, okay? I'm probably simplifying, and in digital it sounds easy. I know it's difficult to implement it, but it is possible. And we should not be placing any dollars on places where we do not have the verification that this is actually being seen by a human, that is viewable, that is on audience, and that is in a safe environment. And in particular, I would like to underline, I mean, we saw some numbers before. Mobile is half of the advertising, so already 50% of the advertising investment. We need your help to create the measurement that we need to verify that our ads have been seen on mobile. And IAB actually, to our knowledge, has developed the best way for us to get that measurement data through their open market SDK. We're going to, until there's nothing better, and it's a spot, Constantine, for IAB, but this is what we think is the best way for us to get the data back from our mobile advertising, on the apps, which we definitely want to embrace, but we need to get the data back. The next one is inventory and data accessibility. We actually, it was very good to have the presentation just before me because we talked about bombardment and we talked about intrusiveness. We must fix this. Consumers demand it. If we want consumers to remember what we're telling them with our ads, we need to address this. And the only way to do this is through getting access to the data at the inventory that is necessary to control that frequency and to monitor the places where our ads are being shown. So inventory and data accessibility it will not be anymore something that is a nice to have, but really like a requisite for us to invest our money. The last one might be a little bit more controversial. We call it editorial comment, and it's about freedom of speech is good. Everybody should have the right to speak, but with that comes a big responsibility. It's a responsibility of civility, and what we are pretending from our digital publishers is to have the possibility to moderate those comments and not to overrepresent the views of few that sometimes drive more controversy that is actually out there, or even hate. I mean, the example that I shared with you with Gillette, at the beginning of the very negative comment was a very, very small group of people that was disproportionately generating all the negative comments that sparked the conversation. At the end, the story is going well, but we need to be able to moderate that with a lot more control than what we have been doing so far if we want our brands to continue to embrace this medium. So those are the 4 principles that we are putting out there. They will be shared with our teams, in particular in Poland. My colleague Guajardo and Agabare will be sharing this with you, and the same will happen in every single European country. And with that, I would like to make an allusion to the chaos theory. The chaos theory on the butterfly effect, where they say flapping of a butterfly can explain parts of a tornado in the other side of the world. So in P&G, maybe we are a few butterflies that are flapping and are creating this effect, but alone, we will not create that tornado. We need many butterflies in order to create the change that we need to change. We're taking the courage to act, and we're taking our brand building responsibility very seriously, and would like to invite you to do the same. Thank you very much.